Hey y'all, and welcome back. If you are confused about wine and its nutritional benefits, like are the sulfites giving you hangovers, is there sugar in wine, and is red wine actually healthier than white wine? Well, today I am gonna go over that with you, and as I go over those questions, I am gonna be drinking some wines that I found from Trader Joe's. So let's get started. Hey y'all, and welcome to my channel. My name is Nicola Hoskins. If we haven't met before, I am a registered dietitian as well as a fitness instructor, and I've been in the fitness nutrition world for over 10 years. And another thing I've been doing for the past 8 years, is drinking wine. With my education and preference of the old wine, I'm gonna give you what I know. These past 2 weeks, I have been researching the latest articles as well as looking up information that best pertains to these three questions. The three questions I am gonna go over today are, is there sugar in wine? What is giving me a hangover? Is it the sulfites? And third, is red wine actually healthy? And let me tell ya,
I got some good news.
And I got some bad news.
I do have to make a little disclaimer. I am discussing alcohol. Be sure to drink responsibly of the age limit and in moderation, making sure you're not driving any kind of vehicle and all the things related to alcohol. Y'all, this is my favorite thing to do, drink wine and talk nutrition. So it's gonna be like you and me out at a bar having a grand old time. First freaking question, is there sugar in my wine? Before I answer the question, I am gonna open a Sauvignon Blanc from Trader Joe's. It is the Russian River Valley, Sonoma County, Petite Reserve. Pretty sure I said that all correctly. So let's open. Ooh, very tasty. It says gooseberries, and I feel that because it has like that tart juiciness. Nicola doesn't know what she's saying. I'm gonna drink a sip. So I figured we just sit down in my office lounge to discuss the questions. Is there sugar in wine? The short answer is yes, but probably not as much as you think. So technically speaking, grapes, as we all know, wine is made out of. If you didn't know that, wine's made out of grapes. And grapes have sugar naturally occurring in them. That sugar, if they're ripened enough, the yeast will chomp and eat down that sugar, creating what we all know as alcohol. That sugar is absolutely needed to make alcohol. Yeast eats the sugar, chomps it down, bite. And that new compound is alcohol. So just like if you mix red and blue together, it makes purple. It's no longer red or blue. It's now a completely different color. Same thing, if that makes sense, with grapes, sugar, and wine. Depending on what kind of wine the winemaker is making will depend on how much residual sugar there is. Now, residual sugar is just a fancy name for leftover sugar. If you are drinking something like a dessert wine, a port wine, that has so much more residual sugar than the Sauvignon Blanc. Wine is categorized in 5 different levels of sweetness. So it's like a sweetness barometer, sweetness spectrum, if you will. And there are 5 different sweet levels. And those are bone dry, dry, off dry, sweet, and very sweet. There is a box right up here that breaks it down a little bit more for you. But one I'm drinking right now, the Sauvignon Blanc, would be considered, I'm gonna do a little bit more, would be considered a dry wine. Now the dry wines have 1 to 10 grams of residual sugar in an entire liter. So that means there's less than 10 grams of sugar in this. To give you another comparison, in kombucha, the thing that everybody says is super healthy and good for you, there is 20 grams of sugar in this entire thing. Depending on the grape will also depend on how much alcohol is in the wine. The higher sugar content from the grape, the higher alcohol percentage in a wine. So you may notice that white wine is less alcohol than red wine a lot of times. It means there's technically less sugar in white wine than there is in red wine. There is a thing called chaptalization. And chaptalization is when a winemaker adds a sweetener to the wine to amp up the alcohol percentage. Let's say they're trying to get 10% of alcohol, but their grape didn't mature enough to have enough sugar in each grape to create that alcohol percentage that Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc needs to be. Then the winemaker is allowed to add sugar or a sweetener to its grapes before the yeast starts chomping away at this sugar. Chaptalization is not meant to make wines sweeter. It's only meant to amp up the alcohol content, which is like a bonus. What a fun drink. That was a lot of science, so up the hatch. It's also good to know that chaptalization is legal and illegal in certain areas. Colder climates allow chaptalization. I really hope I'm saying this word correctly. Chaptalization currently is not allowed in Greece, Spain, Portugal, South Africa, Australia, Austria, California, and Italy. So those areas won't have added sugar. Could they add other things? Maybe. There's one more thing I want to say before we go to the next question. In the grocery store, you'll see things like skinny wines, natural wines, all of that. You will also know that a lot of these skinny wines, natural wines, will also have less alcohol content in it. So if you're trying to drink for a buzz, you might actually need more wine to feel the same buzz as one glass of something else. Now, I'm not saying natural wines are less healthy. I am just saying natural wines have less sugar, which means it will have less alcohol content, generally speaking. If you liked today's video thus far, it gave you some insight, press that like button. We're gonna go back to the kitchen, open up a glass of rosé that was recommended by a sommelier on Instagram that I follow, Samantha Sommelier. I hope I'm saying sommelier right as well. Welcome back to the kitchen. Should I drink all this? You know what, best not. We are now gonna open this rosé. I'm not even gonna try to say it, but La Bien for me. Literally, that was a joke. Please don't make fun of me. Or you make fun of me, it's really fine. The second myth we're gonna go over, why does wine give me headaches? Is it the sulfites? Ooh. Wow, this may be my new favorite rosé. Office, we go. Second myth question I always hear is, sulfites give me hangovers. And I hate to break it to you. Here's some bad news, also pretty good news. Sulfites are not giving you hangovers. 1 out of 100 people have an allergic reaction, intolerance to sulfites, but most people don't. And fun fact, there are more sulfites in white wine than red wine. It is also interesting to note that if you are concerned with sulfites, that dried fruit has so much more sulfites in it than wine. There's one article that sulfites in raisins and prunes have 500 to 2,000 parts per million of sulfites. Wine might have 20 to 350 parts per million of sulfites. So that's a lot more sulfites in the dried fruit than wine. If you have a reaction to dried fruit, you're more than likely gonna have a reaction to wine. But if you don't have a reaction to all that dried fruit, more than likely, you're not gonna have a reaction to wine.
Talk to your physician for any health questions.
I'm just letting you know what I've learned and what I tell my friends as well. Because we're buds, we're pals. And to be 100% frank with you, there is no such thing as a wine without sulfites. Sulfite is a preservative. Either it's made organically, naturally during the alcohol process, or winemakers add some kind of preservative into the wine. Now, there might be some wines that say they're very low with sulfites. If that's the case, you can't keep that wine for too long before it spoils or goes bad. Do we wish we knew what was added in our wines? A lot of people do, and there is a push for that. But now, according to the Alcohol and Tobacco Trade Bureau, it is not mandated to have a nutrition label for anything under 7% alcohol, and even then, you don't really need an ingredient list. But it is good to know that the sulfites aren't giving you a hangover. Now, what is giving you the hangovers? There are so many stipulations, hypotheses, that is telling you what is giving you the hangover. Some say it's dehydration, because when you drink, you actually pee more than you drank, so it is slightly dehydrating you. Second is the metabolism process. And this could be a whole new video, but I will just break it down pretty quickly. I'm gonna take a sip because it's about to be a little bit of a tongue twister. When we drink alcohol, ethanol, our body will then break that down to acetaldehyde. And acetaldehyde will then break down to acetate. And then that will then break down to carbon dioxide and water and be out of our system. That is the ideal thing to happen. But if we drink more than moderation, our body doesn't have enough of the enzyme ALDH to break that acetaldehyde down that will build up in our bloodstream. And here's the dealio. Women have less of this enzyme. Men can drink more alcohol than women can in moderation, so their body can more easily and effectively break down the alcohol. Does that make sense? So if you're ever, like I did in college, try to overdrink another dude and drink them under the table, science has their back. So if you lose, just tell them they have too much ALDH and they're cheating. Or not. I don't know. That's just a funny science joke. Ugh. Red wine has more alcohol than white wine normally. Your body has more alcohol to break down and it needs more enzyme. So you might be feeling that hangover from that reason. The third hypothesis is that tannins are giving you that hangover effect. And there's a lot more tannins in red wine. There's also a lot more antioxidants in tannins. So tannins are the part of the fruit, the skin, the stem of the fruit. And these tannins our body has to break down. Now tannins can be good, it has antioxidants. And so tannins also increase serotonin production, can cause headaches. Now, besides those three hypotheses of what is causing your hangover, there are tons of articles that say other things may be causing hangovers. Basically, people don't really know what's causing the hangover. Bottom line, many people have denounced the hypothesis that sulfites give you hangovers. They do not. So you don't have to worry about the sulfites anymore. You have to worry about all the other things. So is that good news or bad news? I don't really know. You let me know in the comments below what you think. And let's go to the kitchen for our last glass of wine. And since we're talking about red wine, we're gonna end with red wine. Am I mixing wines today? Sure am. All right, people, freaking last question with our last glass of wine. It is a Grenache, who knows? We're gonna drink that. So, okay. All right, that ended pretty badly. But there's some wine on me. We're just gonna pretend that didn't happen. Bottoms up. Let's talk, is wine even healthy? Let's go. Wine is healthy in moderation. And you've heard that. What is moderation? Well, moderation for men and women is different. 1 glass for women a day and up to 2 glasses for men a day is when you get the health benefits of wine. Now, what are the health benefits of wine? What did I say? What are the health benefits of wine? There's numerous studies that show that the antioxidant benefits that help with inflammation, anti-cancer, it helps with cardiovascular disease, and some even say it can help reducing the risk of diabetes. Wine has, or grapes have, resveratrol. And that is mostly found in the skin of the grape, which is why red wine tends to have more antioxidant properties. And wine has phenolic properties. All of these things can contribute to the antioxidant capabilities of the wine. Wow, that was a lot of words. And if I'm being completely frank, when I'm doing wine night with the gals, I am having more than 2 glasses. So as you're drinking wine, know when you're doing something good for yourself, and also know when you're just there to have some fun, enjoy a good glass of wine. Is wine healthy? Kind of. Long answer, it is until it isn't. That's all I got for you today, folks. If you liked today's video, be sure to press that like button down below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and be sure to share this video with your friends, your family, on your social media. You can tag me in your social media so I can say thank you so much. I love making these videos and I want to see y'all enjoy them as well. If you have any more questions about alcohol, wine, anything like that, it's one of my favorite topics. Write them down below because the world of nutrition is robust and confusing. I'm here to make It's simpler for you. You here to make nutrition fun. Until next time, eat your fruits and vegetables, drink your water, be kind to those around you, and I'll see y'all next time, which is Wednesday. I'm gonna start posting every Wednesday at noon. Bye!